back again, taking a look this time at the Playmates Legendary Voltron from the new Netflix series. So let's get into it and see what these guys have to offer. Okay, so let's take a quick look at packaging. We'll look at one of the four limb lions and then the black lion. Since the four limbs all kind of share the same style of packaging, they've got the blister card, as you can see here with the red lion. As far as style and design, they all look the same. So you've got like the call out of the action feature, the call out of the fact that this is the red lion, it's the arm, and they form a 16-inch Voltron. Flipping around to the back side, you've got just the lion, more call outs for the action feature, basically the same kind of stuff, just with kind of different artwork and styles. And then shows that it includes the speeder with the pilot Keith, and then tells you that you collect the green and red lion to form the sword. So we got that. Let's take a look at the black lion. And as you can see, it comes in a larger box. So it's got the call out for the action feature, where you can try it. It says that it has 50 phrases and sound effects. Shows that this forms the torso and the head with the wings. The side just has a different view of that window. And then the back is the same kind of style as the red lion. Shows the black line, shows that it includes the speeder with Shiro. It shows the fully formed Voltron, shows the lions attaching. So I like the design. It kind of fits with the overall theme of the show and its stylistic nature. So let's move on and take a look at the individual lions themselves. All right, let's start with the red lion. Take a look at the sculpt. As far as sculpt goes, it looks pretty good. It's that Netflix series stylized type of Voltron. It's not like the classic show, but he looks really good. Looks true to the show. You can see as far as sculpt goes, details are in there pretty good. This isn't a collector's toy. This is a kid's toy, so it's not as detailed as it could be, but it looks really good. It looks true to the show. We've got a articulated tail. It's kind of a rubbery, gummy kind of plastic, and it goes inside the lion, and I have to assume that that's for transformation purposes. We'll get to that. The jaw is articulated, but it's spring-loaded, so it shuts, and since this is the right hand, it's for the sword, so it's to keep the sword in place. The head spins and it's ratcheted. There's no other articulation. All the legs are ratcheted. The center mass of the lion is ratcheted because this will be an elbow joint for Voltron himself. Beyond that, though, I think it looks really good. There are some paint apps on the head, the silver accents, the yellow eyes, obviously the white of the mouth. The rest appears to be molded plastic. There's the yellow on the tail, and then the blue accents. He does have some accessories that he comes with. Later in the show, I believe that they get the add-ons for the lion. So he's got the big cannon, and it fires this missile. That's a pretty serious missile. So this goes on one specific way because the back is arched. So this has to be on in a certain way, or it's not going to sit flush with the lion. And then it's just a spring-loaded missile. He comes with his part of the Voltron sword, and then this is the pilot that I mentioned in the packaging review, portion of the review. So it's just a little molded piece of like gummy, rubbery type of plastic, but it fits inside the lion under here, and it just sort of slides in like that, and it locks in place, and then you close them up. It's got to be in just right, though, because I actually lost him inside of the chest cavity the first time I tried it. So just if you're going to keep him in there, make sure he's in correctly. So let's move on, and we'll take a look at the blue lion next. Okay, taking a look at the first of the legs, we've got the blue lion. This is the right leg. So it's similar to the red lion, but there are some differences since this is one of the legs. So first of all, the similarities, the tail, same kind of thing, more rubbery type plastic. Goes into the cavity. The joints are all ratcheted, and the differences, though, are that the head is articulated. It can move up and down. It's got this bit of plastic. It's like a shield almost that covers the face for when it's transformed. There is no joint in the middle because this wouldn't have a knee joint. The knee is up here, sort of, and there's no need for a rotational joint there. So there's a bit more molded plastic in place of that. He does come with the same kind of pilot lance this time. And then this one has another cannon that attaches to the top. This one's a little different. It's not the same. It doesn't peg in. It clips on to the side. As you see, there's some just clips, and they attach to these parts right here. So you just put it on, and then it snaps onto the other side, and then he's ready to fire. So with that, let's move on to the left arm, the green lion. All right, moving back up to the left arm, we've got the green lion, Pidge's lion. So this one's a little different in terms of just what it comes with right out of the package. As you can see, this one comes with the Voltron shield already on the lion, which I think looks really good. It's got that gold accent on the black crest. Beyond that, though, this lion is the red lion just with a different paint scheme, which is fine because they should be identical. Same kind of ratcheted joints, got the joint in the middle, the mouth on a spring. But when you're ready to actually use the lion by itself, you can pop this off and it just pegs into this hole right here. And then Pidge's lion has a cannon as well, fits into this bigger hole on the top. And then the kind of energy blast, it's not a missile by the look of it, it looks like an energy blast, will fire off. Now, Pidge's pilot is included, obviously green for the green lion, and then this is the other half of the Voltron sword, and to combine it, you just sort of slide it in, and it'll sort of peg in various spots in there. Mine does have a little bit of paint scuffing on the red and the black on the hilt, which is unfortunate. But overall, I like the design of it. It looks really good. It's nice and big. So let's move on and we'll take a look at the left leg, which is the yellow lion. Okay, now the last of the limbs and the left leg is the yellow lion. So it's similar to the blue lion in the sense that it doesn't have that center joint, but everything else is still the same. So we've got the tail, we've got the ratcheted joints again. The head is a little different. It still does the same thing, but this piece is not the same. It's kind of ratcheted and then it folds down over the face of the lion. As far as paint apps go, they're pretty good. A lot of silver accents, the red accents, we've got the white. The mouth is still the same, spring-loaded. I've got a little scuffing over here on this back leg, but it's nothing major. Otherwise, though, it looks pretty good. I feel like they could have used a little bit more, like maybe line detail, but that's maybe asking a little too much for an $18 kid's toy. So other than that, though, I think the paint apps are still pretty solid. Now, as far as the other accessories, we've again got the little rubbery pilot hunk this time. And then we've got a different setup for the kind of add-on weapon. So this one is a big kind of, I don't even know what you want to call it. It's just a big cannon, but it shoots out energy discs instead of missiles or projectiles. So it clips on to the face shield, and it's not the easiest thing to get on, but it'll clip on, and then once it's there, it stays. And then you've got these discs that come with it. There are 4, and you pop them down in. And this is something that reminds me of toys from when I was a kid. And this thing is pretty serious. It will fire these things off at a pretty good clip. So that's a serious toy. I would have went to town with this thing when I was a kid. So let's put the yellow lion away, and we will take a look at the last lion, the biggest lion, the black lion. Now, rounding out our lions, we've got the 5th and final lion, the black lion. This one is larger, has a bit more in the way of paint apps. Overall articulation is sort of the same, a little different, but overall you're getting what you would expect to get based on the other lions so far. So we've got the tail this time. It's not as hard as the rest of the lion, but it doesn't go in anywhere. It folds up for when Voltron is formed. The wings are ratcheted and they kind of articulate on a hinge here so they can spin around. The head moves down for when we need to transform him into Voltron, but there's no other articulation on this head, which is kind of odd. He can't, so Voltron, as we'll come to find, cannot turn his head. The legs are ratcheted. The back legs only go this far forward in terms of their overall just angle when they're kind of straight. So they can go back. They're obviously going to move backwards this way to transform into Voltron. But other than that, that's a little limited. It took me a minute to actually get him in this position to begin with. The front legs are pretty much the same as the others. They actually fold up into this shoulder cavity. We'll see that when we transform him. The underside of the lion has Voltron's chest, obviously, with some added detail. Those blue and gold paint accents, they're actually pretty good. I don't have any noticeable issues with my paint apps on this lion. Overall, I'm pretty pleased. The one bonus, because this guy doesn't have an added accessory, is this is where the lights and sounds and everything comes from. So we'll turn him on and just go through a couple.
Voltron is the only thing that can stop Sarkon. Let's assemble Voltron and get rid of these Golra.
So there are more lights and sounds and features when the transformation sequence begins, and that's probably the coolest thing about this Voltron is what it does when we're transforming him. So we're going to get to that and see what this guy can do, what he looks like once we have assembled Voltron. Okay, let's take a look at how you transform this guy. So we'll start with the two armed lions. We'll go green and red first. So take the tail, push it all the way in, make sure it's in there, it'll peg in. Fold up the back legs, fold them in like that. The canopy on the chest comes up, and then the legs will go up like this, and then you fold them, you kind of fold them in, make sure they're all the way down, and then they will kind of push all the way into the center of the chest piece. And do that for both sides, obviously. Make sure that they're in there. And then it'll close up, and there's a latch on the top here that'll peg in. And then you've got one arm. Push this kind of connector piece out, and there's that one. So we'll do the same on the red. Push that tail in. Back legs. Pop the chest up, or the back. Pop those legs in. Get them all the way in. And then make sure they're folded 100% all the way up once they're inside. Otherwise, you won't have the back closed correctly. And then pull the tab out. Now for the legs, yellow and blue, hold the legs up, tail in again, of course. They can be kind of hard to push in once you get them towards the end. The front legs just sort of go up all the way. Then you'll lift your head up, and there's the left leg. For the right leg, tail in, ratchet those back legs. Then you're going to do the front legs, same as with the yellow lion. And then for this guy, his head actually sticks out like this normally. You push it all the way back in and lift it up, and then that just sits on there like that. So you've got two legs. Make sure those front legs are down correctly because they act as like the back heel of the foot. And you've got two arms. So let's pull the black lion in here, transform him, and see how everything starts to come together. Okay, let's take a look at the black lion and see how he transformed. There's not a whole lot to do here. To start with, let's do the head. Pop the head down, the mouth comes out, and then there's your head. As far as the arms go, pop this door open on the shoulders, and that goes in there. Close the door. The other side, you do the same. And then as far as the legs go, just make sure they're straight down. And then the feet go straight down as well. And then you would push the tail up against the back. So let's bring the other lines in and see how we can form Voltron. Okay, let's work on combining Voltron. So one thing to be kind of mentioned first is to make sure you, at least when you do this for the first time, have him turned on. So flip the switch on the back, and then to pop the legs on, they just go into these slots here. But the cool thing about this guy is that he's aware of what lions are being combined. So we'll do Hunk first.
Whatever you say, hero.
We'll do Lance.
Blue Lion, ready for action.
And let's go up to the arms. We'll do Pidge. Make sure everything is turned correctly.
Green Lion, all systems go!
And then we'll do the Red Lion.
Blue Lion, ready for action. Red Lion, ready for battle.
Green Lion, all systems go!
Yellow Lion engaged. Red, green, black, blue, and yellow lions detected. Voltron operational. Voltron complete. Targeting road beast.
Once you've got him put together, you can pop the shield on, and it actually goes up on the shoulder when he's combined, I believe. There's a peg hole up here for it on the Green Lion. And then we can give the Red Lion the sword. Now, one thing to take into consideration is that this guy does have some balance issues. He's not perfect. I'm having to find kind of a sweet spot for him to get him to stand correctly. Overall, though, I do like him. He's a bit on the bulky side, but that's kind of the trade-off you get when you have a combining, combining robot. There are some missing paint apps on the face too, up here towards the forehead and the nose. There should be some red in there, and it's just the flat gray. So otherwise, though, that's how you transform him. So let's take a look at the overall package and get some final thoughts going. Okay, so how does this guy stack up overall? Overall, I'd say he's pretty good. For the price point you're getting, the black lion is $30. The other lions are $17 to $20, depending on where you get them. I got them at Target, so they were $17.99. Paint apps are pretty good. I do wish that the face area had the red like we should be getting, but that's kind of a minor thing. It just kind of sticks out because it's the face. I like the added accessories. I like the cannons that we got and the projectiles. I do like that. They work really well. Those are good. I would have lost those about 5 minutes after getting them as a kid, but they would have been fun for that short time. I like the sword. I like the shield. I love the lights and sound aspects of it. I love the fact that it knows which lions are being added and pulled out. So when you remove the green one, it's going to know that the green one was taken out. When you remove the red one, it's going to know. I do wish that it was easier to balance him, but that's kind of the trade-off when you get a combining robot like this. It's going to be bulky. It's going to have, kind of that sweet spot you got to find as far as balance. So if you want a more stylized and easier to pose Voltron, go with the $40 Ultimate one that is also coming out. I think it's 14 inches tall, so it's slightly smaller than this one. Overall, though, I like it. I was hunting all week long trying to get this guy, and I lucked into him this morning. So I had to rush home and rip him out of the package and see what all he has to offer. So I do recommend it, especially if you're a big fan of Voltron. You're not going to be disappointed. Sticks true to the new show, and I can't say too much wrong with it. It's a solid toy. It's a lot of fun. Kids are going to love it, but Voltron collectors are also going to have fun with this as well. So that's it for this review, guys. Stay tuned to Toy Bro for more reviews. And as always, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share, the whole deal. And until next time.